We have some new details on Xbox next generation. Let's go over this massive report. So there's a massive report that was just put out last night from Windows Central and Jez Corden going over new details here for Xbox's next generation consoles and how ambitious the next generation is going to be. We already know the next gen is going to be very, very different from the Xbox side of things with going with a console PC hybrid. I mean, they've already basically shown us their cards, expanding out the ecosystem, putting their games everywhere, giving us a glimpse into the new upcoming user interface on the cloud side of things that a lot of people do really like. And I think this is going to be transferring over to everywhere that Xbox is, even on the consoles itself. The release time frame for the next gen consoles has kind of been leaked here from AMD, with Lisa Su during their financial report saying that everything is on track to have these Xbox consoles for 2027. So lots of interesting stuff has been happening as we get closer to the next generation of consoles. And now we have a big exclusive report. Everyone's talking about this report here for Xbox and the new details on the next generation consoles. It says new details on Xbox's next gen consoles and Microsoft's most ambitious gaming plans ever, from AMD's claim of 2027 Xbox to the idea of plurality of Xbox Gen 10 consoles. Let's sift through some of the fresh details. So we'll start here. It says, for an idea of how the Gen 10 Xbox will function, you can look at the current Xbox Ally. And of course, we've gotten the Xbox Ally handhelds, the Ally and the Ally X, and the full screen experience is in there. It's a good experience, needs updates. It's obviously missing the access to the console games themselves, and I think that will eventually end up coming. But he says here, the Xbox interface will sit on top of Windows, disabling unnecessary processes to create a gaming first environment, and you will be able to exit out to full Windows, much like you can exit out to Linux on the Steam Deck and run practically any program or accessory that you can think of. And that's going to be a big change for a lot of people. Now, the question you'd have to ask is how many people will actually ever boot out into Windows? Will they really even care? I think if you're a PC gamer and you have a lot of games on different storefronts and you want to access things like emulators, all of that stuff, it'll be far easier to do that now on the next generation Xbox console. I mean, currently right now on the Series X and S, if you didn't know, you can actually get emulators on there, but it's a different process. It's a more cumbersome process than if you're just running Windows, and it's just easier to download and get all that stuff going on the console itself. And if you download these emulators and you boot up into the Xbox full screen experience, you can access them through the game bar and everything. So it's actually pretty nice. I actually have that kind of stuff running on my Xbox Magnus that I have connected to my TV here, which is just basically the full screen experience with a PC and everything. So cool stuff that you're going to be able to do there, and they're going to make it a lot easier with the next generation of Xbox consoles. And the Ally and the Ally X have already shown that. I mean, you can dock your Ally and Ally X to a TV and it works just like you would have with, I guess, the forward going here with the Gen 10 Xboxes. It says here that you turn your next gen Xbox into a streaming PC, coding station, music production studio, or whatever else. So it's just basically a PC. And a lot of the finer points are shrouded in mystery. How powerful will this thing be? What kind of price will it have? When will it launch? Here's exactly what we do know so far. Lisa Su says development of Microsoft's next-gen Xbox featuring an AMD semi-custom SoC is progressing well to support a launch in 2027. And the internal codename for the Xbox SoC is Magnus. Sources have confirmed that, but we don't actually know the codename of the Xbox console itself for the next generation. Apparently that is, it's not Magnus, it's something else. We don't know what the internal one is. We always get those, like we had Durango and everything, and that stuff gets leaked, and it's always mysterious and very cool talking about the upcoming console with the codename, because you're always running exactly what is going to be under the hood. It does sound like, in my opinion, it's going to be very powerful and very expensive. That's everything that we have been hearing so far. Now, Microsoft hasn't fully internally committed to a hard 2027 launch for the next-gen Xbox platform, and says since so much of it hinges on improvements to Windows 11 and other factors, and Microsoft's Windows and Xbox teams are collaborating harder than ever to get the OS into shape for a polished console-like experience on Xbox, and you could think 2027 as the best case scenario. Breaking that down, I feel like, as I've kind of been talking about on my channel now for a while, is that 2026 aside from the games, is going to be massive on where we get to see the evolution of the current interface and how Windows 11 operates within the Xbox experience, and how we're going to see a bunch of updates. Like, I think we will see the progression of where we're going by the end of this year. And then by the end of 2027, if they can get it functioning the way that they want it to, and I believe this would include backwards compatibility with your console games, then it will launch. But if they launch it before it is in a state where you're getting that access, I would definitely think they should hold off on that. It should be launching smooth, very minimal bugs, improvements to the actual look and feel of the user interface, and then seamless access to your current collection of games that you've owned on Xbox for all of these generations. I don't think that's something you would want to roll out after. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing here. The SoC sounds like they're working with AMD to be able to make that function, which is very exciting and cool to see, because you're going to be able to take that SoC, not just put it in the Xbox consoles, but I'm guessing they're going to use it on other devices too, maybe OEM devices. So you can have multiple different types of Xbox consoles. Now, there are a ton of rumors, they say, flying around about the potential price points for the next gen Xbox, but the truth is Microsoft itself doesn't know how much the next gen Xbox will be. That just makes complete sense with everything that's happening.